Alright, good evening, it is 6 o'clock, we're gonna start this April 11th, or April 9th workshop for the Canyon County Board of Education. First on the agenda will be public comment, and there's no one here tonight and no one signed up. Next, Thursday night will be the Good Citizenships Award, then the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. And then Miss Bonnie will do the Canyon County School Employee Spotlight, and then we'll have roll call. And then starting with the first item on the agenda, we'll approve the April 11th, 2024 agenda of the Canyon County Board of Education. Does anybody have anything with this agenda? Everybody okay with it? All right. Number 2 will be the consent agenda. A is to approve the minutes of the March 14th Canyon County Board of Education meeting. B is to approve overnight out-of-state trips, number 4634, Canyon South Elementary Beta Convention, Tybee Island, Savannah, Georgia. Trip 4635 is National Beta Convention, Savannah, Georgia, and that's June the 13th through the 16th, and the 4634 was June the 9th through the June the 15th. Trip number 4640 is Canyon County Middle School, National Beta Convention in Savannah, Georgia. That'll be June 9th through June 14th. Trip number 4643 is CCHS Vet Science to UT Martin, and that is April 19th through April 20th. And then trip number 4646 is CCHS Senior Beta to Savannah, Georgia, June 15th through June the 19th. Anybody have any questions over the trips? Alright, move on. Number 3 is the financial report. Mr. Douglas, you have anything for us tonight?
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we don't have a report ready. Food service is not balanced, but we will have that done just in a day or two probably. And I will tell you that I'm working on the budget and we've got questions that we need to get answered, but anyway, it's in process, so we should have something for you in a few days.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Alright, moving on to number 4 is the ESSA report. That is in your packet. Ms. Alexander, would you like to address that?
There's not a lot of change from month to month. We are just trying to finish out ESSER 3. I did put something on the ESSER report that's also agenda item 6. That was just to get approval to move $1,000 from the 71100,188 line item to the 499 other supplies and materials. Just to be transparent with that, the money was allocated, the $1,000 was put into that LOE bonus payment line item in case the art position that was funded by ESSER 3 at Canyon Elementary happened to be a person hired who was previously in our system who qualified for that LOE or level of effectiveness bonus based on prior year test data. Since that was filled with a brand new position, that person had not been employed in our prior year, so there was no need for that bonus. Moving into that supply line item is going to allow me to try to get some paper ordered for all of our schools, except the high school, but we are working on some other avenues for that, and that is just because that is part of our matching funds for 10 All-Core, and 10 All-Core does not allow to fund anything for grades 9 through 12. But just trying to get some paper ordered for K-8.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Stephanie? Anybody have any questions on number 6 that she just explained as well? Alright, thank you, Ms. Stephanie. Number 5 was the supervisor's report. That was all in your packet. Did anyone have any questions for any supervisors?
I want to say I appreciate the report. I do read them.
Yes, there's a lot of work gets done.
Some of you still aren't signing them, but it's okay.
It says on the top of them, I think, on most of them.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
So, please, anybody else have anything?
Thank you. I just want to say thank you, Ms. Sisson, for staying during spring break and making sure things are taken care of.
Oh.
And also, I just wanted to point out, in the supervisor report, it was, about the CTE programs. Just a huge shout out to T. Wayne Williams for being selected as the FFA state president. This is Cannon County's first FFA state president since 1991. So that was a huge accomplishment. So we were proud of him.
Yes.
He won 6 or 7.
We're a lot.
He did. He won a lot. He's an outstanding young man.
Overachieving.
Yeah, he is.
It's because he's from Short Mountain.
That's exactly right.
I had to throw that in there. I had to throw it in there, I'm sorry.
He was on my first draft team, and he was,
He's a
had
good,
the same attitude, I mean, the same work ethic, and just unshakable. I understand here, like, he just, nothing bothered.
Yeah, thank y'all for y'all's reports. Anybody else have anything for them? All right, we've covered number 6 with Miss Stephanie Logo, so we'll move on to number 7. That is to review board policy 6.100 through 6.319, student part number 1. As far as I've seen, most of these have been pretty recent. The oldest is 20.
on anything usually in this category, they're updated as they become public chapter, so, they're pretty recent, anything dealing with students, so. And most of those were under my watch when I was in coordinate school health, so they're not saying that I had anything to do with it. I'm just saying that I use them a lot,
Yeah.
so.
Anybody have anything on those? All right, let's move on to number 8. Approval of archery team at Cannon County Middle. Miss Bonnie, I'll let you take the lead and then you can go from where you want to.
I'm gonna give you a little history here. Probably about right at COVID, I went to a coordinated school health convention and they introduced me to Mr. Kevin. I can't remember Mr. Kevin's last name, but he's over the archery. Yeah, Kevin Lee program for the state, and which is also a national program. And he told me about writing a grant to get archery equipment for Cannon County. So I put it in my action plan. We wrote the grant, we received it, and then he came in and did a training with all of our PE teachers because our goal was we didn't have enough money. If you've ever dealt with anything in archery, it's pretty expensive sport. And we didn't have the money to buy equipment for every school. So I wanted to start at one school and rotate the equipment. So we started at Short Mountain. We had Miss Darcy that was teaching there at the time, and she was a certified trainer. And her children had been part of the program. So she did a little bit with it that one year. And then the next year we had all our PE teachers trained. And then, of course, we, people move and leave. And then we had some other things happening. So we didn't really get that program going like it needed to be because we didn't have the money to expand it. And we needed more curtains. They only provide you in this grant with like one set, and you actually need quite a bit of feet of curtains to be able to do this. So anyway, fast forward to now. The middle school has the equipment, and Stephanie went to coordinate school health, and Mr. Bill West, who happened to be over the Rutherford County archery program. We got a gym with him, you guys. I mean, right now he's actually back, but he went and got recertified to be that NASRO trainer, that he trains all the SROs in state, plus he goes out of state and trains, and he just happens to be part of this archery world, and he's all fired up about this. And so so that's where Miss Annie decided that the middle school had an interest. But I'm going to tell you, and Miss Stephanie can chime in, it's not something that can happen overnight. There's a lot of training that has to be involved. You have to be a certified through their organization before you can even implement this in schools. I went to my first match. My grandson in Knoxville he's not one of these children, and I hope he's not watching tonight. He's not one of these children that would go out and play basketball or football. That's not his cup of tea. He has some struggles, but he joined archery. And so his mama went to watch him. The day we played in the state tournament, it worked out. He was at the state tournament. I was so impressed with that sport. I could not believe how well organized, how disciplined that sport was, and how many kids were participating across the board. There were high school kids standing next to elementary kids, and they were helping each other. I'm so impressed. I think our county needs it. I do think it's going to be a work in progress. I don't think you could have a sanctioned sport here by next school year. It's going to take a few months to get this rolling. But the season started in January, so there's a 6 month that we would have time to train. And then Mr. Bill has agreed to kind of get involved. I'm not putting words in his mouth. He's not here. I guess I couldn't I? But I'm just impressed with it, and we're adding sports across the board. And I think we've got kids that this would be a great benefit for, that just doesn't fit the mold for some other sports that we offer. It's a wonderful program. You know, when I first heard about it, I was worried about, bows and arrows and kids running around. No, it's well-disciplined sport. Miss Annie, I'm sorry.
I had a parent meeting last night, an interest meeting, and there are about 30 parents and kids there. And I've gotten a lot of emails about, we missed the meeting, but how can we be involved? So I know we'll have a lot of parents support.
I've actually been in contact with Mr. Lee, and he will come back and do a one-day training with all of our PE teachers and anyone else that might be involved, and that is at no cost to the district. Mr. Jason has actually done an inventory of the equipment that was purchased a few years ago, and I'm gonna take his equipment list and discuss that with Mr. Kevin Lee to find out, is that enough to sustain a program? We're gonna kind of start implementing in the curriculum in the middle school, so to expose kids in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. That's part of our coordinated school plan action, or coordinated school health action plan. And we could even, Mr. Lee said that we would even qualify to apply for the grant again. However, it does require some matching funds, but it's not a huge amount.
$1,500.
The biggest thing that is a need is the curtain that will stretch the length of the gym.
Or you get a 30-foot one, 10-foot high.
So that was
No, that'd be the whole length of the gym. She's saying it's going to be the whole length of the gym.
if you go not this way, but
Long ways.
horizontal across, so you'd have more shooters. If you got 30 kids already interested in it.
I mean, they don't, what you see, what their inventory.
Yeah. Well, the curtain's not long enough. I'll tell you that right now.
I looked at this 5 years ago. At that time, which Don Crawford is also another man involved in that. He's one of the head people. At that time, when I looked into it, the SROs is the way Rutherford mainly does. So they were going to help us, but they wanted the SROs to do it. Well, you know, we went to, and they wouldn't let us do it. They wouldn't let me do it in one spot and have all the kids come. They wanted it in every school. And so, unfortunately, the only drawback is somebody's going to learn how to work on bows because they're using those Genesis bows, and they're not really good bows. And so everybody has to buy kits. Mr. West and everybody who's involved going to learn how to fix bows because they will break constantly. They're just cheaply made, but it gets everybody on the same playing field. That $1,500 grant was like 12 bows they give you.
Yeah, it was more than 1,500 when I wrote it.
I just called him today, he said it's 1,500, it's matching.
The one I got was not a matching. I did not have to match anything on it, and that was several years ago.
The current ones he did.
The current ones they've changed. This was before COVID when I wrote it. But I do
It's
know
$3,600, you pay
Mhm.
15.
Mr. West has, like you said, through the SROs, and he actually may have a plan on getting more equipment, but he was so involved in it, I think he knows he ran that program for a while, so, but anyway, I think it's a good thing. I think it would, be a niche for those kids that don't fit into a niche.
So we're just voting on approval to get this going, correct?
Yes.
And to have it, but
Mhm.
the approval to go ahead and get everything going, we can get it in the next season, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Mhm.
No, it might be a stretch, but
But
we gotta start
We
somewhere.
gotta start, yeah.
It's only 8 hours training, so I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know why you can't have it next year.
If you get the
Anywhere.
right people trained and the right people that want to coach. Mhm.
And I think, Miss Bonnie, that, like Zachary, he's something that they're doing through Technical, is they're doing trainings for those teachers when they leave,
Mhm.
to PE teachers to have that
Mhm.
when they leave.
Good
So the-
program.
Coaches, that's another supplement thing we'll have to add.
Yes, it would be. I mean, it would be like trap or, what do you think,
We've worked
Wayne?
on some different things, substitutions and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how you're
It's
gonna
a,
do
it's a
it.
short window.
You either do it after school or during school.
Mhm.
As far as your PE class, I don't know what you do there.
Well, no, I mean, it's twofold, the team itself would be fit under sports, but just teaching archery is part of the PE curriculum. That's already in the standards. You're not really approving that because that's part of PE standards.
Can I ask, logistics on the gym usage, because we're pretty full up on, can they practice at like maybe in elementaries?
Well, but you would have to move the equipment. It would have to
Okay.
be at the middle, I would suggest the middle school. And it's a very short window.
Okay.
It's a very short window. There's just a lot to think about, but I think we need to at least, start. If we don't start, we'll never have it.
True.
I do agree with you, though, there is interest there. I know that.
And the good thing
We've been
is,
approached by that,
yeah,
so,
you don't have to have one at the high school team and one at the middle school team. You're a team, you're a county team. So you don't have to worry about that. Practicing at two different locations, you just have a team.
And a lot of people buy their own bows too.
Yeah, a
If
lot
you
of
ain't got
kids
enough
do.
bows, those who can afford them.
so if, I'm just asking the question, if you approve this, the interest is across the board, across the county, then you're saying it's one team? It's not just middle school, it would be,
They didn't have it that way when I went to that competition. It was just like, they had a team, Blackman had a team and they had different age groups.
age groups,
Mhm.
so.
I had, a parent last night who had an elementary school student, and I said, bring them on down. Like, it was 4th or 5th grade, so.
I think the first step would be just looking at doing this in our PE classes to teach proper etiquette and then go about proceeding with having it as a sport. I think we need to at least let's start somewhere, and that would be including it in that PE curriculum.
Yeah, when you finally get it set up, they're gonna wanna come back to school and practice. You have to practice. So you're not gonna be worth a flip, it's just part of it. It's like anything else, but you gotta practice.
Do you think maybe?
Probably
we
ain't gonna
should
get enough there in PE to do it.
Do you think maybe we should just put approve, archery team for Cannon County schools instead of just saying limit.
Or you gonna get overwhelmed with location and equipment?
Well, I mean, either way, it's no different than the bass fishing team. We fish from third grade to seniors. I mean, you can just put the Canyon County Archery team, like you said, I think.
I'm just saying, if you get 100 kids coming, you're gonna be
Yeah, but,
logistically.
I mean, we can just figure that out when it happens.
Well, we could just say approval of archery team at Cannon County Schools and then
Yeah, let it
work
go.
out the
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah, and that doesn't put a time limit or any
Exactly.
constraints, and that way you can,
Make it even
we can
more
get Mr.
difficult than
West in the conversation because he's done it before, so he would know more about how.
That'll help get the
And
wheels going.
first, we're gonna have to figure out the location, and, cause once you put that stuff up, you know, it would be hard to put up, take down, put up, take down.
Yeah.
So, you have to kinda think through it,
Seagull shoots in their cafeteria.
really.
Hmm.
Well, that's interesting.
Everybody kind of got creative about where they put their targets.
All right, anybody else have anything? All right, let's move on. Number 9 is the approval to surplus East Water Street property. But Miss Bonnie has some more news, and our wonderful county man Greg is here tonight for another one,
Glad to
so.
be here.
It is. After, Mr. Neal, sent me an email and told me that the county had some property in the Water Street property, East Water Street property, and he was getting it out. And so asked me some questions about it. So I thought we might need to put this on the agenda to determine what to do with this property since the building is in really bad state of repair. I think Miss Melanie is here to talk about that. But so I started looking for the deeds to this property, and when I found the deeds, plural, there's 2 deeds. There's one for the original purchase, building a school there, and in the 40s, I believe. 48. And the second was for the addition to the building. And I can't assume, but I'm assuming, I guess I can't assume, that was for the gymnasium part of that building when you look at it. And that was from a whole different property owner. The first deed was between Cannon County and the property owners. Second deed was the Cannon County Board of Education and different property owners. So then if you read the second deed, it has some clause in there about it had to be a school, and if it wasn't a school, then it could go back to the original owners. Or if it was sold, the money would go back. Or they could agree to, whatever. So after reading that, I thought I was reading that correctly, so I sent it to our attorney to look at it. And he sent an email back today, and I sent that to you, kind of verifying what we thought. So I went to Mr. Mitchell and explained that we were halfies on a building.
Yeah.
Half owners of property that was assessed all together. And so, it's kind of like in the Bible where they say to, split the child in half.
Right.
Even if we split the child in half and we tried to sell the half of it, we're going to have to get in touch with the heirs of that property, the original property, because for our half, the clause says that it reverts back to the grantors. For the county's sake, they got half a building.
Work time.
The worst they got the other.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So, there can't be any action on our part because we don't get anything out of it. I think our attorneys are going to have to wade through this so that the county can decide what needs to be done, because on our part, we're kind of removed at this point. It would have to be between the heirs and the county, if I read that correctly.
It's amazing to me, because all this time, everybody always talked to the Board of Education. That's the Board of Education, period. Never had heard any other way. Till today.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Well, and I'd always heard that it was another property that clause was in the deed, but guess what? It's this property. And, so,
So
That's
number
where we're
9 is no action.
Yeah, I know, like,
This is done.
well, I think you
For
could
now.
say that
Give it to the county
Give it-
commissioners.
give it to the commission. I mean, yes, we own half of it, but there's nothing we can do with it. If we were to renovate, but we can't renovate that, there's no use for that building. At this point, you wouldn't be able to renovate it.
Merry Christmas.
So,
I like to sell our house to the county.
I knew he'd go.
but I do think, the two attorneys would have to get
Yeah,
involved
I think so.
at this point. So,
Brady, it's 71,000.
Huh?
Just a minute, 71,000, Brady.
well, which half?
That's the whole one.
I know, yeah.
All right.
1,000, what it's right? How much acres did it show? Did it show a combined acreage or just per deed?
I meant to send that to you today. What did I do?
Can't be much,
I forgot what
It's on
'cause
there.
it runs right up on Susan's property.
It is,
Building's 5,100 square feet. Oh, 1 acre and a half.
Can't count floor space now, there ain't no floor in one half.
That's your, yeah.
Acre and a half.
Acre and a half.
for all of it.
The floor is asphalt.
Uh,
It says the floor is asphalt.
It's non-existent.
All right, so we're gonna give our part over to the county commission and let them decide what they're gonna do with their house.
I mean,
I'm sure we'll be having more from them, but we'll deal with that when it comes.
Well, there may be some sort of legal action. that needs to be
Yeah,
taken
we'll figure that
By
out.
by transferring the,
So number 10 is Mr. Mitchell would like to address us about the playground equipment, I'm assuming at East Side School.
And the Mr. Park makes me feel so old. It's great, big man. But, I came up here, it's been a while. It's been probably a year or over, maybe. When the schools were being sold and the east side was sold, and I come to, ask the board to, give us, to let us have some of the playground equipment. Well, and the board at the time, and this is the way I remember it, the board at the time said, yes, it'd be okay, but come back before, come back to the board before we, when we was ready.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was told. Is that right?
I think that's right.
I think so.
I think that's right. I think that's correct. I don't think they gave it to me just completely that night. I think they said.
I think we gave it to you, I think we was just making sure all the equipment, construction or whatever you needed out there. we could-
I guess, and you also come back to y'all when we was ready for it. And, well, we're ready for it, but I understand there's other things in the process going on with everything. I think, we was just to let you in on what it was, what we were looking at was 4 pieces of equipment. One's a big arch swing, it's out in front right there, and that's really, that's, the piece that would really set us to going, you know. Because we've got a 3-star grant, It's $50,000 grant, where the old pool is, it was filled in, everybody knows about that, 'cause I'm sure we heard enough, a lot about it. And, it's filled in now, and we were wanting to take the $50,000 3-star grant and, put in a inclusive playground. Not only an inclusive playground, but maybe some places to sit and eat, families sit and eat and have lunch or whatever. But also, you know, just inclusive, I mean, ADA, well, you know, every grant you get's got a time. They never do give you a grant once you don't have to, they get that implemented in a certain amount of time, at least procured. So we're looking at December, it is the end of this 3-star grant. We have to have all the procurement in, by December. Well, Kristen's worked hard on this, my assistant, and she get Nancy. And rightly so, because she's worked hard. She's worked hard, and y'all done grants, probably all of you. They've put in for grants, it's not an easy thing to do.
She's just an antsy person.
No, I know, she just gets, she gets antsy cause time.
I've learned to put up with it.
I understand. You're creative. But, I'm just doing what was said and coming to y'all and see what y'all say. And, like I said, December, I think is our time frame.
We just need to approve Thursday night, that they can go ahead and move equipment they need.
You did the swing and what other pieces?
Well, technically, they can have, we voted, they got it all.
We just want,
It's all theirs if they want it.
we would, 4 pieces was all that we was looking at.
That's around back, is that what you're talking about?
Some of them
are.
But the big one is out front. The big one out front is the big blue, I believe it is. I went and looked at it, and that's where we want to put the wheelchair swing on it if we possibly can.
Most of that cement in the ground.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might need that.
I ain't that hard.
We've got some help though, I mean, we've got some folks that gonna help us, and the city said they would help us with it. And get it relocated down there, so.
Thank you, Greg. I won't call you mister.
That's right.
Alright, moving on to number 11. We got approved resolution number BOE 23/24, number 5.
Yeah, it's just, Chromebooks.
Chromebook fee,
Mhm.
and that's for,
Goes back into technology to purchase more Chromebooks.
I need to come back, sir.
no. Thank you, sir.
See y'all, thank y'all,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Anybody have any questions on that? We're just moving money, correct?
Moving,
15,944.
collecting money and moving money to purchase more.
Alright. Number 12 is to approve the exceptional education department to contract with outside agencies for services needed, occupational therapy, physical therapy, behavioral, school psychologist, vision, and special education Pacific attorney. Who is up?
It's Julie.
Miss Julie.
That's for the next school year, because we have services
Right.
that we don't have, here, so.
We had to do this every year, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions for Miss Julie? Alright, moving on. Number 13 is to approve to hire a behavior consultant utilizing funds through IDEA federal budget. Miss Julie.
And those are funds that I get a federal budget, and so those funds would come out of that budget. It's not anything that would have to be GP related.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? Alright, moving on. Number 6 is discussion of the May 6th workshop time.
Yes, when we set our May 6th workshop, we did not know of the high school's awards night that some of us are involved in. And it's at 7. So if we move our workshop time to 5, I think that would allow us ample time to get to the high school if they put us on the back of the agenda. And we'll be able to give our awards to our seniors that night. And for next year, we are creating a Google Calendar so that everyone is putting all of their events. You know, we have so many things that are going on now with the addition of the middle school and things of that sort. And, you know, there's a lot of outside things that occur with booster clubs and things that we're not aware of. And so when our principals start planning their beginning of the year events and all that, sometimes it kind of lands on a night of some booster club activity that we don't know about. And so we're being proactive, and if you hear of something that's occurring, I think the football bash thing last year kind of got on a night that others were having open house. You need to let those that are in charge of those know, and we'll let y'all be on that share folder so that we won't put them on the same night. Some nights you just have to. I mean, it's just the way it is. But for this particular one, this is a celebration of our seniors, and so we need to try to be there.
5.
I'm 6 to 5, yeah.
Is that doable with?
Y'all said 5?
Probably not.
What's your?
5.
So Monday, May the 6th, workshop at 5.
Yeah,
Right.
instead of 6.
Just the workshop.
And then the meeting,
Short agenda.
is that meeting the next night? Or
Yes.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
voted
That's
on
the
it.
one
We
that,
voted on it.
Yeah.
You guys were gracious about that.
That's
It's
what I was
the
just
only
making sure.
residence on
Okay.
and that's just, you know, we did it so early, that was before that. So it's an easy fix if we do it that way.
All right, moving on. Miss Lydia Garrett has coach his supplements concerned. I don't think so. I didn't.
it. We did
not.
I started looking through that, Miss Lydia. We don't have that. I don't think.
Yeah,
that's.
You know,
So I've got last year's supplements on there and then proposals for this year. For the high school, the
I
only,
have one.
You got it.
for the high school, the only thing that changed was, Brian Elrod is listed as a high school cross-country coach, but he also does middle school. So we've added him, it's on the high school side, but that addition for him would put him as doing high school and middle school girls and boys, and it would put him at the, same supplement as our high school coaches of our larger sports. So, that's an addition there. That's the only increase on the high school side, and like I said, that is accounting for him coaching middle school cross-country. So that's a $1,500 increase.
And he was inadvertently left out, correct? Last year on the salary scale, is that right? Annie?
No, as far as I know, he was left off of this as on a middle.
As a middle school coach.
As a middle school coach supplement.
So he was
So he
just,
did not get paid for being a middle school coach.
so that was a $1,500 increase. I just put it on the high school side because he was already there. Nothing else has changed with the high school. For the middle school,
I got in volleyball.
I talked to, Jason and Dr. Reed, so there's an addition of $500 for Tammy Smith as an assistant athletic director. We took out band. Band last year was a $2,000 supplement. So we removed that and put it as archery. and did $1,000 to make it the equivalent of volleyball. So that actually, turned into a $500 decrease for the middle school side. Middle school assistant coaches did not change. And then the only change on the elementary was, we do not have a elementary football coach, but we do have junior lines that has a commissioner. So I put down that possibly that elementary football coaching supplement could go to the commissioner of the junior lines. Last year and currently that is Shane Hollingsworth, but I believe we are looking at possibly moving that over to one of our high school coaches to run that league. But that hasn't been done yet. So that was just something I had thought about. And then for the year overall, it was a $1,200 increase. That's what I got.
So explain the commissioner thing.
So the basketball has the elementary coaches for each school. Our county runs one program for junior lines where all of our elementary kids play that one program. So the commissioner is basically, he's the one who schedules all the games, gets the officials, goes to the meetings. He just runs that program.
There's 3 classifications in football.
There's flag, junior, and senior. So it's basically what kindergarten through 5th grade. Sixth graders can technically still play junior lines. Some of your 6th graders who are smaller will still play in that junior lines program versus moving up to the middle school. So it's technically kindergarten through 6th grade.
Sort of parent-coach agreement.
Well, that's what our technical coaches do.
Volunteers,
Volunteers.
Lots of.
lots of volunteers.
Everybody's day.
It is something.
That's how it's.
I've never seen anything like it. It's something.
Well, I've always
Boys and
heard
girls.
of the program and everything, but I didn't.
90 to 100 kids.
Got some
It's a lot.
interesting.
And this commissioner, one of the jobs this commissioner has too is overseeing money, which is very important.
And all the scheduling and
Scheduling,
parents from kindergarten through 6th grade. Go to him.
everything coaches need. It's an undertaking. It's done right.
A little stress.
On that archery, well, this is if every coach that does the archery is gonna get $1,000?
No, the heck. That was our goal. But now that we're
I don't know,
saying,
we haven't started the program yet,
Yeah.
so I don't know if we should put that on there yet until we get a program
You're not in
started.
there yet.
Cause I don't know I couldn't speak to that because I've never done a program. That would be a question for Bill, how that works, how they did it there. Is there one person over the whole thing and then they had volunteer coaches? I think that's how Rutherford County did it. Cause Darcy was involved, so I don't know. I can't say yes or no to that.
Take that one out and the increase is only
I just
$250.
think we'll have to wait on that one.
We mentioned your PE
Mhm.
teachers, that's why I asked that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Every PE teacher is gonna be qualified to do this, do they get the $1,000? That was my question.
I wouldn't think so. I think it would be a head coach, and I, like, if you could move into that direction, and if you have the intent to do that, I don't know why you wouldn't put it in there to have it set, if that happens to come about. If you don't use it, we don't use it, but it's there
The
in case
team-
somebody comes
Yeah.
on.
The teams that I saw, or the team that my grandson was involved with, there was one person that was a coach. Now, there were other people that were helping, but one person was the coach. She had an assistant, for all of those kids. And in fact, on the floor, there could only be one coach on the floor.
Mhm.
So there would be just one coach for Cannon County Archery.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it
when I've
wouldn't
talked-
be,
And when I've talked to Bill about it, there was going to be one coach, we were we were rolling. So you putting it in PE has kind of changed my perspective tonight, because I was gonna get rolling on it. We have someone who volunteered to be a coach, not Angela. You know, and I've talked to Bill about that, but we haven't ironed out anything, but we were, like Jason and I were planning on rolling. That's just how we are, so, just go with it, so.
Well, and it says on here per board approval, so, I mean,
well, putting PE in the mix doesn't change anything.
No.
That just says we're gonna include it in our curriculum
right.
so that kids can learn the sport. That has nothing to do with the sport itself.
And then that has nothing to do with the team.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just like, for example, a PE teacher will play volleyball or tennis,
Okay.
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that they have any kind
So
of
we don't even know
jurisdiction
what
with
the
the coach.
structure of team is going to look like.
No,
Okay.
just archery,
Lost it.
yeah, that, the standards is in the PE standards.
Yeah.
Because there could be kids who don't have means or access to archery equipment at home, but if they're exposed to that through, like a unit in PE, that may get them involved in a sport.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
sorry, I wasn't clear on that, I'm sorry.
I didn't understand the concept. What on top of my head was thinking.
So your middle school assistants, only one assistant gets paid? Why?
I don't
Do we know why?
Middle school. I just do the high
So
school.
it was structured from the beginning.
From who?
Huh?
Who structured?
I guess Jason's.
So this is.
I mean, I just don't, I mean, and I don't mean this towards anybody, but your football and basketball has multiple assistants and they're getting
So-
paid.
This budget is loosely based on the original one we had, and then was renegotiated under,
It has to be that
Right.
has to be negotiated.
and it
Mhm.
was negotiated under, Jaren Tenpenny, and
The
that is
MOU.
when the pay increases happened with the high school, to bring our pay closer to surrounding counties. I believe at the time, middle school was middle school had not opened yet. So then when the middle school opened, this was what they had started out with. And I know, last year, and then of course this year, I have not asked for any increases on the high school level to allow for the middle school to catch up or,
I
you
was
know,
just
see
curious.
what they wanna do, but currently, and I also, coming from the high school, we have the ability to recruit educators as coaches, whereas at the middle school level, they haven't reached that yet. And so, you know,
Well, I mean, I'm just getting at your basketball, football teams all went to almost, your basketball boys went to sectionals. Their first, I mean, second years of school. The girls got third sectionals. Football won the championship. And I know it takes more than one assistant coach on all these. I mean, how does Chris decide what assistant coach gets $500?
He doesn't, I do.
I
And I'm
mean,
gonna tell you what happens, and what happened to all of them, is that, especially, well, maybe not with Chris, but I know with, basketball, it was given to one coach, and then the assistant gave it to the other one who felt like they needed it more.
right, and I understand, but you see what I'm saying?
yeah, I get it.
I mean, because of course football's gonna have more than basketball, but I just don't think it's right. I mean, we're building the program for the high school.
Then he had 4 assistants.
I don't know how many, I guess.
He had 4 assistants down there.
Sure he did. At least 4. I mean, I just think that's something to be looked into, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got people from this community willing to give their time to go to football practice and basketball practice every night of the week, I mean,
And I think all sports change. When I first started coaching ball, I didn't receive a dime, and I won 2 state championships at Woodland. Didn't get a dime for it. So as it progresses along the way, I think you're right. It's something to look at. It's something to put in negotiations through our MOU. You know, this is in our MOU too, our coaching supplement schedule. So, so it's
And-
something to be researched.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them probably don't even want the money, but I mean, it's there for them to be offered to.
It's
I mean,
fair.
You see what I'm saying? I mean,
Do you want me to add it
The
to
MOU
the?
or
do you
coaching
want me to add
supplement is in the annex of that.
That,
I didn't mean
oh,
to- go ahead. I didn't-
I said, I can add it.
I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, we could look at it, but I don't know what the MOU and when all that has to be.
How does the MOU affect non-teachers?
Well, it doesn't, but
Okay.
it's in our memorandum of understanding with
there.
our association, because some of these are teachers. So
Right.
it's teacher
The ones that's
pay.
not, they don't get affected.
No, no.
And a lot of these aren't.
I mean, I'd just be
Right.
curious of what you got. Like, I mean, just how many coaches it would be, how much increase it would be. I mean, I don't,
Well, you would have to come to agreement, you know, how many you're gonna pay, because I know with football, you started off with 3, and then I think he came and asked not to raise any supplements, but to add another position with high school football.
Mhm.
You would, you know, you couldn't just say, well, get how many you need and then we'll pay
No,
this
no,
much.
I'm
You'd
not
have to
saying that,
say,
yeah.
let's have 3 at the middle school assistants, paid positions. You know, you'd have to come up with that number. That way you could budget it.
No,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
add it
yeah.
on there, and I can talk to Dr. Reed, she can tell me
Yeah,
how
I
many
mean,
she
this-
wants to
Yeah,
add
I
on there and
I
see,
think
see
three
what it
football
looks like.
assistants and 2 boys coaches would, 2 assistant coaches per team,
Yeah.
that matches everybody.
Okay.
Because that's what we have now.
And I can see football needs
Football has
more
more
just because
specialties.
they
Yeah,
have,
they have to.
I mean, they
Yeah,
have
they have
more,
more.
they have more
I mean, you got
specialties.
defense, special team, all that. I was just curious. I never even paid attention to
I'll
that, I
make
guess.
another spreadsheet and add those on there and do a,
And like I said, some of these people may not even take it. They may just donate it back, you know, or leave it in the budget. I mean,
I'll find out what Chris did with it. He may
So
not-
you
he
would
might
have-
spread it out, I don't believe it.
I think only Corey got paid. I think that's how
I
it
don't
works.
sound like Chris, I can't believe he just paid for it.
they probably
they
put it
probably
back.
paid it out of their booster club
Yeah.
as coaching supplements.
With adding 5 assistants, that's increasing 3,500.
Maybe booster club. Middle school football.
Could you have that by Thursday night? Because we
Come
have
at 7.
budget meeting, and we need those figures for Douglas to put in our budget.
Yeah.
Increase $35.
Can you-
So you would, at the middle school, you would have 3 assistant coaches for football, 2 for boys basketball and 2 for girls basketball.
Yeah.
Is that what you-
That would match the high school.
Increase by 3,500.
At 500.
Well, high school is 4. So, I
Well-
mean, 3 would be,
The,
I think he did
for high school though, we only have, only 1 assistant gets paid for basketball and only 1 assistant gets paid for girls basketball.
And they split
yeah,
it.
it says
And they
split it, yeah.
Well, that's what I
So
was
we
looking
could-
at, so
We could,
they're 1 and 1.
1 and 1,
I mean, geez, look at what they're splitting.
no, that's what I'm saying, maybe,
I mean,
so just, we'll just add it. Just add it in there, if you want to add 2, we'll add 2.
Or you could put,
I mean, even what they're splitting, though, is what I'm saying, even though what
Yeah.
they're splitting, they're still getting more than what the assistant coaches are getting. Yeah, if you can bring that Thursday night.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything on this? Thank you, Lydia. Number 16 is to approve board retrieval dates with Ben Torres. We have Thursday, April 25th, Monday, April 29th, Tuesday, April 30th, Monday, May 6th, Wednesday, May 8th, Thursday, May 9th, and Monday, May 13th. I personally cannot do May the 8th. That is,
Personally, the only date that looks available to me would be the 13th.
Me as well.
May 13th.
Yeah, your May 6th is out. That's your board workshop.
May 9th is out.
because that's your graduation,
Mm-hmm.
correct? And the 30th is too early because our feasibility study will not be ready till May.
The
May
30th
1st.
is our budget meeting.
And I want to have that
Meeting anyway.
for the retreat, so. So I guess we kind of talked it out there.
We can do it.
Can you get off work, Alicia?
Don't know. I'll do it. I'll do it.
May 13th is.
May 13th.
Kinda what we're shooting for. If Alicia can. If not, we might have to go back to the drawing board with Ben.
How long did they
One
last?
year, years ago, a board
Uh-huh.
member was unable to come because of work.
And
And it was
they-
recorded.
Yeah,
I think we probably need to go with that.
they last about, we usually start around 8 and usually done around 2:30 or 3. Okay, anybody else have anything on that? All right, number 17 is to adopt board resolution in support of TSBA's I Am Because of Public Education campaign. Bonnie?
TSBA, you received their email, sent this out in support of public education. I think we have to understand why they would want to support this campaign, saying that public education is a critical part of shaping our students' lives for the future. And they sent an example proclamation. We did not do a proclamation against the Voucher Freedom Act, but I felt that this was, to me, needed to support our teachers, to support public education as a whole. And I have the document. I can read it or send it to you and let you look at that before Thursday night, but basically, it says that public education is fundamental to our nation, an essential component of societal progress. And whereas public education plays a pivotal role in shaping individuals' lives, fostering critical thinking, and promoting social mobility. And whereas the I Am Because of Public Education campaign seeks to highlight the transformative power of public schooling through personal narratives, advocacy efforts, and community engagement. And whereas the promotion of quality public education is essential for the advancement of individuals and has transformed the lives of so many people, therefore be it resolved that the Cannon County School District recognizes the importance of public education in nurturing talent, fostering personal growth, and building resilient communities. Expresses support for the I Am Because of Education public education campaign and its mission to celebrate the positive impact of public schooling on individual lives. Encourages individuals, educators, policymakers, and community leaders to actively participate in the initiative by sharing their stories, advocating for equitable education policies, and champion the value of public education. Calls upon governmental bodies, educational institutions, and stakeholders at all levels to prioritize investments in public education, ensuring that all learners have access to quality educational opportunities, regardless of socioeconomic status, racial, ethnicity, or other factors. Affirms the commitment to promoting educational excellence, striving to eliminate disparities and barriers to learning and fostering environments where every learner can thrive and reach their full potential. Resolves to disseminate this resolution widely and to actively support efforts to advance the goals and principles of the I Am Because of Public Education campaign. Be it further resolved that the Cannon County School District reaffirms its dedication to the principles of excellence in public education. We hereby adopt this resolution in support of the I Am Because of Public Education campaign, recognizing the transformative power of public education in shaping individual lives and strengthening our communities. This document, if you approve it, would be signed by your board chairman and then sent to TSBA as part of their campaign to support public education during this time.
And this is in your packet if y'all want to go back and reread that. Ms. Teresa did put it in there. Anybody else have anything on that? Thank you for reading that, Ms. Bonnie. Alright, moving on, number 18, director's comments.
I don't have any comments other than, our TISA pool will happen next week for the month of April. We did have our numbers to go up on the last pool. We're still working on that every day. Miss Lisa, Miss Marcia has been working quite a bit on getting things, cleaned up with data. And I've been working with Douglas and we'll see where we stand with our budget soon. I'll have some more comments Thursday night. So,
And then number 19 will be my chairman's comments. I don't have none tonight. I'm gonna call mine Thursday night. And then 20 is to adjourn. And then our meeting is Thursday night, the 11th at Cannon County Middle School / Elementary School cafeteria, if you'd like to join us. Thank y'all.
Saturday, go by flowers at the high school.
oh, yes, Saturday. I gotta remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand.
Be there early